whatever. I've gotten lost. I made so many of these videos and I've had to reshoot these videos and so forth. But anywho, hello YouTube world and fellow Shade Tree survivalists. Mac Daddy 1911A1 here with the Shade Tree survivalists. This video here, I've already covered the controls on a semi-automatic handgun, and I've got videos that I've shot on the revolvers. I've done the ones for the stance and so forth. Now let's talk about ergonomics and aesthetics. Okay, ergonomics is the science of how to make a tool that works well with the human hand. Okay, that's what ergonomics are. Some handguns are better than others, and that is up to the individual shooter. Now, on the back part of the handgun, especially on the Generation 4 Glocks, M&P series, and the XD series, the Ruger American, what is it, the SR45, I think is what they're calling it. They're polymer frame guns. The back strap here can be changed out real quick and easy without tools for the most part, so that you can make it bigger or smaller depending on the size of your hand. That is something that is a consideration. Now 1911, you can get a one that is sort of like a humpback, okay, and that's pretty much it. You can change the grip panels, and you can make one with a Packmeyer, or in this case a Hogue grip. It's got the finger grooves in it, and you can see it a little bit better. Makes the hammer recoil a little bit better. But if it's an all metal gun and it's a smooth front, you can have that diamond cut. A professional gunsmith can do that. A lot of them you can buy that way. You can go ahead and have that one. That's one of the things you really want to try to get, especially if you're using a major caliber handgun that has a lot of recoil, such as a 45 or bigger, because it'll help keep the gun from moving around in your hand. You want that sucker as stationary as possible. Triggers, okay? This is something else you need to think about. How far is the trigger into the trigger guard? How far away is it from your finger? Okay, a 1911, like this one here, you can change out that trigger shoe. That's what that's called, the trigger shoe. You can make it longer or shorter. I covered that in my very first, one of my very first videos called the 1911 pistol, or 1911A1, and I was telling about the different ones, and I had I did a side-by-side comparison with this range officer from Springfield Armory next to a loaded standard 1911 from Springfield Armory. The loaded one had the short trigger, and this one has the long trigger, and they make one more, so medium. So that's something else when you are trying to purchase a handgun. You actually want to physically work the trigger to see how well your finger will work with that particular gun. You may love the gun, but if the trigger's too far away from your fingers because you're having smaller hands, maybe you need to find something a little bit different. Like the Glocks, the M&P series and all, they scale the entire gun down so that it actually fits the cartridge it's shooting. Most of the 1911 producers, they'll make it smaller diameter barrel on the inside, but the outside is the same size as a 45, and the overall gun is the same size. And they make the grip, you know, they'll make the grip a little shorter for the commander models and so forth, but it's basically the same damn gun. Browning just came out with a 380 version of this gun that has been scaled down correctly for the 380 cartridge, and that would be also a good size for the 9mm, because the 9mm is just it's what they call a 380 in Europe. It's called a 9mm short, because it's the exact same damn cartridge. It's just been shortened down just a little bit. Doesn't have as much room for powder, and which equates to less power. So that's something to think about, how far from here to the front of the trigger, and how will your finger interact with that trigger. Okay, that's something you need to think about. There's multiple styles of the control mechanism in the handgun. All right, a 1911 is a single action only. All right, until it fires. In other words, you cannot make it cock and fire if the hammer is already down. And I just unloaded it. Okay, it's empty. There's no magazine in the mag well. If the hammer is down, like this right here, you can pull that trigger all day, it will do nothing. You cannot make it fire. Okay? However, certain guns like the Beretta Model 92, and there's several others, I don't know all of them right off the bat because I'm a 1911 guy and I really haven't studied up on it, but some of them you can lower the hammer on a loaded chamber and they have a hammer block, firing pin block to prevent it from accidentally discharging. But once you remove the safety, take the safety off, you can press the trigger and it will cock, and as you continue to press to the rear, it will eventually fire. Let me double triple check. Yep, we're empty. It will continue to fire. So that's something else you need to think about. You want to think about the ergonomics, how it will fit your hand, how easily it is for your finger to manipulate the trigger, and whether you want a double action or single action. Now, single action, such as a 1911, once it's cocked and locked, and a lot of the others have a very light trigger. This is 4 1/4 pounds, 4 1/2. Very easy, and for a lot of people, it's too easy. So a lot of people prefer the double action only, or double actions, single action, double action handguns like the Beretta. You can thumb cock a Beretta and make it a single action, so you just press the trigger and it goes boom real easy, or you have to go through a very long trigger press in order to get it to cock and fire that first cartridge. Some of them in some states they require police forces to have double action only and up to 15-pound trigger pull. Now just think about moving 15 pounds repeatedly with just your trigger finger. Makes it very difficult to get a good solid platform to shoot from so you can hit your target. Something else to consider. Okay, so you want to know the difference in the type of actions that you're dealing with. Regardless, all semi-automatics, once you fire it, it uses the energy of the cartridge being fired to eject, which is when the slider goes to the rear, it snatches out the spent cartridge case and flings it away. And as the spring, the recoil spring, returns it to the front, it pushes the next cartridge into the chamber, reloading it, and it has already cocked either the hammer, or in the case of the more modern handguns, the striker inside, which takes the place of the hammer and the firing pin. It does it all in one versus having two separate pieces. Get one with a good trigger. You know, don't be so cheap that you buy such a cheap handgun that you do not have a good trigger. You want a good trigger. The Cooper always said this: in order to make a standard 1911 perfect, what you need to do is have sights that you can see, trigger that you can manage, and a dehorning job so that the back of the gun is smooth, and so as you're handling it and your clothes are rubbing up against it, it's not getting snagging and tearing the hell out of everything inside. So that's your three requirements. Sights you can see, a trigger that you can manage, it's light enough that you can press it, but it's not so light that it'll discharge if you poot, okay? And then the dehorning job to make the rear of the gun smooth so it's not eating your hands up while you're using it. A Bomar style sight like this one is probably not what you're looking for, and you'll see the video I did on the M&P 40 cal that Kimmo bought. Oh, and while I'm thinking about that, I went with Kim to the gun stores, and we went to 3 different ones, went back to the second store, and she wound up buying the first gun she picked up, which is frustrating for me, but hey, I got this look at guns, you know, it's gun porn, I wasn't complaining. But I went with her, like I said earlier, as a technical advisor, and that's what we should all do. We should have enough respect for our ladies to go with them and to answer any of their questions, and to prevent the salesperson from selling them an overpriced pile of crap that they will never use. They allow them, not allow, encourage them to pick their own handgun. Okay? encourage them to handle multiple versions of the same type of gun. Say, for instance, okay, she wants to start out with a 9mm, make her handle every, I keep saying make, but encourage her to handle every freaking 9mm they got in the store of high quality. Alright? Women love to save money like a lot of men. They're frugal. They want to save as much money as possible. They don't want to just toss it out. But at the same time, you want to make sure they have a quality handgun. You are relying on this gun to save your life if it ever comes down to it. So you want a heavy-duty gun, not a piece of crap that will wear out in 100 shots, such as the freaking High Point. And I know there's High Point fans out there, all three of you, and I'm sorry, the High Point is a cheap piece of junk. I wouldn't give you 10 cents for one. Just about, I mean, any Glock, any M&P from Smith & Wesson, any XD from Springfield, any 1911 from Springfield Armory, and many other manufacturers, any FN, Fabrique Nationale, FN, Walther, Hector & Coat, and on Remington, Browning. There's just so many high quality guns out there. Whether they polymer for the lightweight, the reliability, or they're all steel for their intrinsic beauty and long-term value and reliability. I believe my 1911 do the job anytime and every time, and it has never failed me, nor the other one, except when I screwed up myself. You know, encourage her to buy once and cry once. You go ahead and buy the quality you were looking for, the reliability, the durability, and the correct caliber. The first damn time, you don't have to do it again. Okay, so frugal is nice, and if you can get away with it, good deal. But if your life's dependent on it, don't worry about being frugal as much as worrying about the quality of the product. If it's inexpensive and it is still a very high quality product, such as the Glocks and the M&Ps and the XDs, they're fairly inexpensive. They're base models. Good deal. But if there's a question or there's something lacking, go ahead and wait or buy the higher price model with the features that you really want. Thank you very much for watching. This is a little bit longer than I intended. It's going to take a while to upload. So this is Mac Daddy 1911A1. Encouraging everyone out there, take someone out to shoot. Do it correctly. Do not give them a gun that'll hurt them. Help teach them the safety rules, teach them safe gun handling, and teach them how to fight back. Thank you very much for watching. Support the National Rifle Association. God bless the United States of America, all our armed forces. Y'all take care, and I'll catch you on the flip-flop.